Hello there. While studying at school, have you ever thought that it was just a waste of your precious time? Did you hate doing homework or taking tests on subjects you probably would never ever use in your later life? If you did, you're not alone. To be honest, I sometimes had the same problem. I'm not sure what you think about this data, but it really terrifies me. Things that were taught at school weren't but that. This little experiment turned into something more than that, something special. School system is something that is constantly being criticized by tons of people.
It's actually amazingly bad in conventional education.
Every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent.
But isn't it that bad? Actually, I can't say, and I don't think I care much anymore really. But some memorable and truly important for my later life events did happen when I was at school. In this video I'm gonna share with you some of the lessons I learned during that long journey with my own ups and downs, pleasant and unpleasant feelings, high satisfaction with my achievements, and feeling of being a total failure. It was quite an interesting time actually. But why so many people care about school? I mean, even some old people I met brought up this subject of this period of their lives. They have so many years on this planet behind them and so many memories. Do they even remember what was going on in their lives so many years ago? You know what? They do. And it's not what you think. Let me introduce to you the reminiscence effect. If you don't know what it is, it's the finding that middle-aged and elderly people access more personal memories from approximately 10 to 30 years of age. Yeah, even when you're 80 years old, which won't be happening soon for you, if I understand my audience median age, you'll still tend to access more memories from the period of your life which was so many years ago, mostly from your teens and 20s. I'm not sure what you think about this data, but it really terrifies me and makes me feel some kind of urgency. So, school years are probably something you'll remember your whole life. Sounds scary if you already can't change anything about them. And if you've watched this video up until this point, you're probably wondering what's next. Here is my game plan for this video. Next several minutes I'm going to talk about 3 massive life-changing truths I learned, finishing with the most significant one, which I really want you to hear. Let's get it. Process versus result. Samurai has no goal, only path, right? I don't know whether you experienced the same thing, but as a student I've always wanted summer to finally come, whether it was March, October or January. I knew that I didn't have to go to school for 3 straight months every single year. There were literally 90 days I could spend doing what I truly wanted. There was no homework, tests, deadlines and stuff like that. And no, I wasn't a bad student when it comes to grades and understanding of the topics we learned. I was always the best student in my class and one of the best in my whole school. There were times when I truly enjoyed studying. You spend your time and see your effort transform into clearly measured results. Great. But these obsessive thoughts about summer still haunted me quite often. And I used to wait for vacation so eagerly that sometimes I didn't really pay attention to living in the now. Then summer began. Of course, it flew by fast. And it made me disappointed sometimes. You wait for 9 months for something that seems to come to an end too early. And this topic is actually closely related to the last, most important part of the video. So, what did I change in my life in order to change this? Basically, I started enjoying the present moment more. I tried paying my full attention to my tasks. If I was doing my English homework, I did it with full devotion. And studying sometimes was like a game for me, with specific milestones and a final boss, which was my final exam. And I had the highest overall score for 3 exams in my class and one of the highest in my whole school. To sum up this lesson, which took many years, if you focus only on the endpoint, neglecting what's going on at the moment, you won't have as much fun. Learning to work. To be honest, I've never thought that school was supposed to help you in real-world situations like paying bills or improving your mental health, so that wasn't a disappointment for me. Things that were taught at school weren't but that. Personally for me, staying consistent and finishing most of the assignments on time was the toughest and most discipline-demanding part. Studying takes a lot of time, and it was a secret quest to find out how to learn and how to learn fast. Prioritizing was an integral part of my studying, especially closer to the final year. I didn't want to know everything, but mostly only things that I deemed necessary for my future life and understanding of the world around me. And my desire to be productive, manage my time wisely, and have the willpower to do what's important for me is something I still have today. This is not quite what I was taught in school, but the conditions under which I was functioning at that time, that environment, seemed to tremendously affect my later life. Finding true balance. In movies and cartoons, there usually are several types of students, including bullies, who are strong and big, and nerds, who are intelligent, shy, and who get bullied sometimes. There are some other characters, but thinking about myself, I was always afraid to become a nerd who had great grades, but wasn't interesting and nobody really wanted to be a friend of him outside of school. Fortunately for me, I had supportive classmates who never really were pissed about my academic performance, and we didn't really have bullies. Such characters seem to always be in movies and cartoons about teenagers. And at some point I realized that it was time to become a more well-rounded person. One of the things I wanted to become good at was English. As you may notice, I have a decent accent, which make obvious that I wasn't born in a country where English is official language. So ability to really read books in English without translating every single word was kind of rare among people I knew. I also started being more focused on my physical and mental health and time management in general. I started going to the gym, sticking to a healthy diet, socializing more, and believe it or not, these changes really transformed my life. It was the time when I first thought of creating a YouTube channel. This little experiment turned into something more than that, something special. Speaking of communicating with my friends, personally for me school was one of the greatest tools for socialization. I was randomly assigned to a class full of people I wasn't familiar with, and thus our journey together started. Most of the guys I was studying with in my first grade were my classmates till my 9th year in school, and you probably know how important social connections may be. High-quality relationships are associated with longer and healthier lives, according to a famous Harvard study. So building those meaningful green links between you and your family, friends and community is quite important. I still communicate with some of my old classmates from time to time, even if I don't live in the same city or even country. It still feels so good to exchange a couple of words between each other. We had to go through difficult exams together, facing punishment for some funny things we arranged, discussing our plans after school, criticizing some of the tests, which clearly were too difficult at that point of our studying. There are so many great memories from that time, and actually, when I think of school, first thing that pops into my mind is probably my friends. So to sum up, I agree that school doesn't really prepare you for the real world. And actually, I haven't really thought otherwise. It's interesting to look at how you went all the way from being a little child to becoming a person you see when you look at the mirror. So those were some of my thoughts and things I came through during my school years. I truly hope you liked this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and definitely have a good day.